Hey, welcome to the video. This is going to be 80/20, like the high level of sales, how I sell expensive stuff over Zoom. Just recently closed my first $1 million in group coaching sales. So I thought this would be a fun opportunity to kind of recap what I learned, share it to you. Maybe you can use it. Maybe it's interesting to you. But real quick, let's dive right in. So first is about a story of this guy, Socrates. So Socrates, if you don't know, he was very ugly, would like walk the streets of Athens and go up to these respectable people and say, hey, like just basically ask them questions and keep asking them questions until they contradicted themselves. To basically, he was doing like an experiment to kind of show them that they weren't as wise as they thought they were. And so the way Socrates persuaded the people of Athens, it wasn't by telling them, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're a pig, whatever. He would ask them questions. And so this is called the Socratic method. It's a way of getting to the truth, but it's also a very powerful way to persuade. So we're not going to tell someone, buy my product. We're going to ask them logical questions and emotional questions in a logical way, the right questions in the right order, in the right tonality, so that purchasing the product, which is hopefully in their best interest, is the next logical step. And I'll just pause this for a second. Just like the note on ethics is, obviously you're not using this to sell things people don't need. And really the number one sales tip is to actually believe in what you're selling, because that's going to shine through in your tonality, in your conviction, how you approach that conversation more than anything else. So all of this applies to selling a product or a service that you fully believe in. That aside, let's dive right in. So based on that, so the most persuasive tool is questions. That means we need to be able to listen. We need to listen really well. It requires a sense of presence. If you're not meditating, it's very helpful to start a meditation practice so that you can actually get out of your own head. You can know what that's like to be listening to yourself while listening to a person talk. So you actually want to listen to the person. What are we listening for, though? High level, we're looking for what is the A. Well, let's see if I can draw this. What is the A to B transformation? A to B. Where are they now? Why is it bad? What is the problem? What happens if nothing changes? What's bad about that? Why can't they fix it on their own? Where do they want to be? What does that unlock? I don't know if I can do this. And so what does that unlock to make it worth the effort? And then it's about positioning your offer. For me, that's this group coaching offer that I help sell. Your offer is the logical, quickest way from A to B. That's the high level. That's the big picture. You're taking someone from A, painful point A, to beautiful point B. And so if you can do that, well, that's really everything, right? People move away from pain and towards pleasure. It's all you need to understand. And so we're going to ask the right questions and then listen very closely to understand what is the surface level A, what is the emotional level A, so that we can help take them to surface level B, emotional level B. Just a quick example. We help writers make more money. And so point A, I'm asking them questions to understand how much money are they making right now? What kind of negative effect is making that little amount of money having? And where do we want to be? And what does that unlock if we help get them to 10K a month, etc.? And so that's basically what you're doing. You're trying to find out what is the A to B transformation. While you're listening, listen to this. I forget the exact stat, but like 60% of communication is body language, like 30% is tonality, 10% is words. You might think I'm crazy, but what this means is if someone says, I really like it, and they go like this, they're full of it. And that's okay. They're like, I think I like it. They don't like it, right? So you're looking for incongruencies. It's something I learned from Alan Pease from the Definitive Book of Body Language. You're looking for incongruencies between body language, tonality, and the words. And whenever there is an incongruency, you're going to favor body language and tonality is the truth. And so someone's like, I think I like it. It seems like you like it, but you don't love it. Like, let's talk about that, right? So you can use that information. If you're only paying attention to the words, you're missing out on like 90% of the information. So high level, you need to get good at understanding what are the cues in terms of body language and tonality. None of it is perfect, but you can get a very clear indication of what someone's saying. And in terms of tonality, something you want to work on, something I'm working on that I don't do perfectly, is you don't want to speak in an upward tonality, kind of like Kim Kardashian, because if you do that, people won't trust you. It will sound weird. You want to speak neutral or down. Okay, that's the big idea there. Tools for listening. So when we're listening, there's something called labeling, mirroring, and probing. These are really powerful tools. Labeling is something like someone gives you a big, long story, and you want to make sure you really understood them. So say, okay, Chris, it sounds like your biggest problem with your business is lead flow. You're having trouble finding leads. Is that right? So it's like, it sounds like what you think. Is that right? This is really powerful, because if they say no, great, like help me understand the truth. If they say yes, great, you're on the same page, and you just doubly reinforce that. Mirroring is like, someone goes, a prospect says, it's been really frustrating. And you just go, frustrating? Nod your head a little bit. And then they'll repeat it back to you. You're like, frustrating? In what way? So we actually use the prospect's language to help them expand on it. We don't want any surface level answers. We want to understand what's actually going on. Probing, this is a fun one. Like, that's in what way? They're like, I want financial freedom. Well, great. Financial freedom means nothing, right? Because it means a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people. So financial freedom, in what way? When you say financial freedom, how do you mean that exactly? So we want to probe their actual words. Now, when we're listening, I have a checklist. It's in my head now, but I used to have it on paper of, okay, what is the problem? Why is the problem a problem? What is the cost of inaction? If we don't solve this problem, what is that negative future outcome that makes fixing this problem worth it? Like, what are we avoiding? Because that's really going to drive action. Doubt, why can't they do it themselves? And a lot of these I got from Cole Gordon. Solution, did they try any other things in the past? Maybe partner, if they mention they have a wife, like, would their wife be supportive of them taking this investment? Most times they would, right? But we want to make sure that's clear so that we can help them overcome that limiting belief of, let's say, I got to talk to my wife, I got to talk to my husband. Well, if their wife is going to support them anyway, let's help empower them to avoid that limiting belief. Anyway, so we basically just have a checklist. If you have that, you have a bulletproof process. And that's really the 80-20. 80-20 meaning the 20% that gets you 80% of the result. Well, it's about having a bulletproof process, asking the right questions so that you can check off these important beliefs so that you can help someone, empower them to make the right decision. Now, objection handling. This is really the last, the opposite 80-20, the last piece that gets you only 20% of the result. But big thing on this is we want to anticipate and eliminate objections as much as possible. You do that by asking the right questions. If you have a pitch, you pitch the pillars in a certain way to eliminate those common objections. So it's not even about being like some ninja. As much as possible, you don't want objections. You want to get rid of them earlier on in the process. But if you get them, as you will, obviously, the very first step is to get clear. I learned this from Sean Ray, a coach we had for our company. He was a really, really helpful guy. But he was like listening to a recording with me, and it was so clear that I was talking about a different conversation. The prospect was like giving me about finances, but they really weren't sure if they wanted to even go this path. And so I'm trying to coach him up on finances. The real problem is he's not even sure if he wants to go this path. So the very first step of objection handling is to get clear. Once you're clear on what the real objection is, right? If they say, got to talk to my wife. Well, people don't talk to their wives about like a definite thing that they're sure about usually. And so you would ask them like, yeah, of course you can do that. No worries. But like, just so I understand, that aside, is there anything stopping you from being 10 out of 10 about what we spoke about? And so that way you can actually get clear. Then once you're clear on what it is, you offer a new perspective. Like, okay, got it. Are you open to looking at that from a different perspective? Typically they'll say yes. And then you basically have, like, there's only so many objections, right? Like timing, finances, maybe partner. And so you have these things or doubt, in your back pocket. For us, I have this Kobe Shaq story that Tia, shout out Tia, gave me this story, and it works really well. You help people understand, overcome their limiting belief of if they become successful or not. So you then offer them this new perspective. And so this is really the 80-20 of how I sold $1 million in group coaching sales. And I hope it's helpful to you. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me know what questions you have. Might start making more content. Otherwise, having fun doing all this. Hope you're doing well. And thanks for watching. See you later.